the same time, liberals and conservatives are kind of mushing around. They're trying, so everybody's trying to pull back and forth as we go. But the concern that I heard you express, the real concern, is that we're losing our youth to the left. Sometimes they have sort of a socialist leaning. I have a daughter who watched Michael Moore's 9/11, and she still thinks George Bush blew up the towers. Thank you, Michael Stupid Moore. And that makes no sense at all. But again, kids, people are influenced by sometimes the outlier opinion. And that's one of the reasons we as a group, we as a society, have to make sure that reasonable, rational thought takes priority. Because I get terrified by some of these outlier views. I think eco-terrorists are holding some of our oil sands projects or pipeline projects. I stood out at River Creek Reserve the other night, at the Keynote Reserve, speaking to a group of Aboriginal entrepreneurs. And someone asked me where I got the balls to have this conversation. But I said, we as a nation need pipelines. We as the nation of Canada need pipelines. Once again, we all need to pull on the same rope. And so we have special interest groups creating all sorts of divergent views, whether it's, and you see it certainly through social media, you get extremism. And I've signed up to a few websites, ours and a couple of others, to see what some of this extreme socialism looks like as they start to announce extreme, and it's inflammatory, and it's wrong, blatant lies, but they can put it in writing with no recourse, no repercussions whatsoever, and nobody calling them on it. Which is why I'm willing to stand up and take a view on many things, because I think we need to have rational thought. I don't believe that climate change is irrevocably caused by human intervention. Why don't I believe that? Because I don't believe the science is proven. So people call me a denier, and I get slagged in social media, some of the worst possible terms. And again, a denier is one of the nicest things I get called there. And they say, well, we got 25 of the top scientists in the world, 2,500 of the top scientists in the world all agree. I asked one person who worked with the National Research Council, the National Defense Council out of Washington, where's this list? I said, what list? I said, well, the list of top scientists. Well, what do you mean by that? I said, well, there must be a list. You're quoted all the time. And who's number 2,501, and how stupid does he feel? Why didn't you include his views? Was he contrary? So you got top 2,500 all agree, but number 2,501 doesn't? So my point is they make a generic statement that can't be defended, but it also can't be challenged. And they don't even know where the data came from. But they threw it in my face a number of times. I work with a number of oil industry outlets in terms of my investments. I'm involved with a coal mine. I burn coal-fired power. I'm kind of the only one who suggests we have the most efficient coal-fired power plant in Canada, running in a place called Brancash, Alberta, with max power. And yet, in the eyes of the anti, we should be shut down immediately. And they want to jump to renewables. But we don't have the economics of renewables. So a couple countries in Germany, or Europe, Germany included, have to almost undermine their own economy by saying, well, we're just going to swing over to wind and solar. And nobody wants to touch nuclear, which is the solution, quite frankly, because there's issues around that. Anyway, I could be going for a long time on these issues, but the real point is that we allow left, not just left, but extremist views to govern the agenda. And we don't push back. We need intelligent, thoughtful, rational debate. And again, I might be wrong about climate change, but it hasn't been proven to me. And so the argument that all the scientists agree, I would throw back and say, well, in 1600, there was a group called the Flat Earth Society, and all of those guys agreed. They were wrong. My real point is, let's have the debate. I'm sure I've stirred some thought now. Go ahead, right behind you. Yeah.
Greatest opportunities in Alberta over the next 20 years. So if you're in your late 20s, early 30s, what would you be chasing?
The greatest opportunity in Alberta over the next 20 or 30 years. I'm fascinated by electric power capture, batteries, and what that's going to mean for distributed power for homes, for cars, for bicycles, tricycles, everything. I think there's going to be a major shift away from natural, well, certainly away from diesel, given the problems they're having right now, but towards hybrid and electric powered cars. And what that means is there's going to be some infrastructure issues. I just discovered, for example, in Calgary, talking to the president of NMAX, they had never thought about the fact that they cannot allow a new condo to have enough power coming in that they can create a charging station at every single